episode 13.1 of Geeksphere TV. This is our companion podcast to the audio podcast we do on our website each Tuesday night. I'm with my co-host Brad Burrows.
Good evening.
And this week we've got our special guest, Craig Brock.
Good evening all.
Now you'll remember Craig from our Surface video where he showed us his Surface Pro, which is very nice. Didn't let us keep it, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, never mind, that's okay. So anyway, let's kick into this week's podcast. Okay, so Facebook have kicked off with their new phone experience called Facebook Home. Let's check out their video.
We carry our phones wherever we go. They're with us almost every second of the day. We reach for them when we have a free moment, or we're curious. More than anything, we use our phones to connect with the people we care about. This is Facebook Home. From the moment you turn on your phone, you see what friends are sharing. Your latest messages, calls, and updates are right up front. And you can keep chatting from any app. So no matter what you're doing, your friends are always right there with you. Home. A whole new experience for your phone.
Okay, so Facebook Home. Now, I know you guys, we were talking about this last week, and we were thinking this was going to be a new Facebook phone, you know, the little Facebook button on it, but clearly something quite different, and actually an app for all intents and purposes for the Android. Brad, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, for me, I was a little disappointed that they didn't give us a phone. I really wanted a Facebook phone that we could actually have to differentiate, like Microsoft has done with Nokia, Google have done with Motorola. But in saying that, I think what they've actually given us is something that is going to be very similar to what I've got on my Windows phone, which is a people hub, very centric around users and what's happening there. It's a little bit more mature, but I think it is going to be something that's going to really adopt really quickly. One of the things I've already heard about is that it's going to be ported onto other Android platforms, which is really good. So it's not just going to be specific for the HTC phone, which they showed in their demo. I think a downfall is that they're not going to branch across into the Apple ecosystem. So there's no iOS app coming out at all at this point in time. And obviously Windows Phone already has that sort of people hub centric offering there. But what you said in the video there, I really like. I really like the notifications, the mapping service, the integration. I think it's more of the evolution of version 2.0 of what we've got in the Windows Phone world. Okay, fair call, fair call. Craig, what is your thoughts on it?
As an avid Facebook user, I absolutely love it. I have a Windows phone myself. If I had an Android phone, I'd definitely install it and I'd definitely use it. You know, I think it's great.
Yeah, interesting. Now, I hear what you're saying about the hub from Windows Phone and tying all that information together. However, this, as you say, it is much more mature. It's much more graphically rich and really does tie in one aspect which I think is going to be important for Facebook moving forward, which is revenues. So remember when the IPO came out, they were trying to launch into the share market, and what happened is that they turned around and said weeks out, look, we cannot afford to actually, well, we don't know how to make money out of mobile, effectively. So this
is a big flaw, right, in their strategy.
It's a huge flaw, and it did actually impact on the IPO. Now, I think what they've done is they've actually turned around here and said, look, we can make some money out of this. We're going for the larger market group, which is Android phone users, which is very much in their Android user range, under 13s. And
20s.
20s, that's right. And I think they've actually done a really smart move here to be able to start capturing some of that financial gain out of that market. So, you know what, Facebook, I think you've done a pretty good job. And I'm going to be interested to see just how this impacts on the other mobile spaces.
Yeah, I think, you know, you sort of pulled it. This is the start of the ecosystem where Facebook can start to go out and go to application providers and saying, look, come into our family, we'll try and monetize it. I think 100% right there. But it is now starting to bring everyone into one place. And I think that's what they were missing. They had apps going around everywhere, but if you look at Facebook, as we mentioned last week, they've got video, they've got chat services, they've got apps coming in. If you start to pull us into this ecosystem, I think we're going to have a rich sort of Facebook skin sitting on the top of the Android platform.
I wonder if this isn't the start of a Facebook phone coming out later, but I'll just throw that out.
Interesting. Don't know. It's an interesting call on that one. I think it's one of the cases do you really want to get into that space that's already crowded and fragmented?
You're quite right. And I guess piggybacking on top of the biggest phone market, which is Android, it's absolutely the way to go if you want to get into it.
Okay, so we've had a birthday in the industry. Someone's turned 40.
Oh, Brad, awesome.
He's one.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Look, no, the mobile phone has turned 40 last week. So back on April the 3rd, 1973, Marty Cooper placed the first public call from a cell phone. It was the Motorola device, and this thing weighed 2.5 pounds. A far cry than our 4-ounce devices that we have
Look
today.
at that sucker, it's huge.
It's absolutely colossal. It's a brick. But look, I mean, 40 years in the industry, the mobile phone has been around. Hey, Craig, what was your sort of first mobile phone that you fell in love with?
When I was 19, I started working, and I was given a Nokia 2160. It was the beast of a phone back then. Had the pull-up aerial. Oh, it was so good. It would burn your head every time you used it for too long. Yep, that was it. I loved it.
That's a beautiful looking phone there.
And Skip, what about you? What was your sort of first phone that you fell in love with that got you addicted to mobile phones?
For me, and this is very much a movie thing, it's the Nokia communicator. So all the spy movies had these little phones they could crack open. They could connect right back to effectively anything. I mean, look at that sucker. It's got email and communication stuff on it. I had no idea what half the buttons did, but it was so cool.
Very James Bond-like, wasn't it?
It was.
More buttons were better back then.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, for me, I fell in love with one of the early Ericssons. Now, we're going to throw over to the video here around what was actually the ad for my favourite phone.
Yes! Hey, it's Rob! You've blown my cover!
Yeah, you spies should carry the Motorola StarTAC cellular phone with VibraCall Alert. Try it on. It can vibrate instead of ring. It's real covert.
So high-tech, it could only come from Motorola. Motorola, what you never thought possible.
Yeah, look, you've got to love that, the Motorola StarTAC. For me, it was a clamshell device that came out, and I just loved the compact nature of it. It was sort of that first phone that was sort of slim for me to be able to use. Great phone.
Now, I'm going to step in here because the StarTAC had a bit of a hacker quality to it as well.
Maybe.
You could actually plug in some equipment, do a little bit of soldering, and you could actually end up modifying this thing to be able to listen into calls on the old mobile network. I can't remember what the network was, but it was unencrypted, it was analog and horrible as anything.
It was the old Bell South network that they first started kicking off and were testing around on that one from that side of things.
Wasn't that WCDMA or something like that?
Yeah,
It's
back
horrible.
in the day.
It was horrible. Yeah.
So, in other news, LucasArts have been bought by Disney recently. If you didn't know that, you do now. Yeah, we'll find out. Unfortunately, not maybe a month into owning LucasArts, they've culled LucasArts altogether. So they've shut it down. There's been lots of people laid off. It means massive things for the gaming industry. These guys have been around, I think 1984 was possibly their first game they did.
Definitely.
There's a list that if anyone's been in the gaming industry for the last 20 years, you would have played a LucasArts game. We've got Rebel Assault, Grim Fandango, the whole Indiana Jones series. The Star Wars series that they brought out alone was just, there's 20 games odd, you know.
Yeah.
There's heaps. Monkey Island, it's just huge. So one of my favourites is Sam and Max. You guys remember that?
Oh, yes.
Sam and Max.
I would like to play back the intro to Sam and Max, and it'll bring back some memories for you guys.
Friends, we've only gone out together 3 times, and already you're telling me you just want to be friends? You never gave me a chance, and for that, you'll fry like a pork sausage.
Oh, that's gold.
I love 8-bit music.
Yeah. I think 256 colours it looks like to me.
It's maybe Super VGA or something wonderful like that.
Look at these characters. They still stand the test of time, don't you think?
They are fantastic, aren't they? And this day and age is still legendary.
You know, I think the thing about these games is that they worked on the principle of quality storytelling.
Yep.
and just immersive gameplay, right?
Excellent.
But such a simple game, such a really simple game.
It was the storyline that made it all for me on that one.
Yeah, no, it's a good game.
A classic adventure game gone graphical. Brad, you must have had some favourites, LucasArts, over the years. What's your favourite?
I think, look, out of the vast collection of games that they've got, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter for me has to be sort of my favourite. Being a Star Wars fan, I got to enjoy the experience of actually flying, you know, the TIE Fighters and the X-Wings and going through. And they did about 3 or 4 iterations of this. So for me, this has to be sort of my favourite LucasArts game. Nick, you've been in that part.
Oh, that's look, and that whole Star Wars, what do you call it? IP, I guess. Oh, look. Star Destroyers.
I mean, seriously, how can you not love this type of game? If you're a Star Wars fan, you know, controlling and flying around the Death Stars. And again, simple graphics, great storyline, great immersive gameplay, live out those childhood fantasies on a Star Wars experience, you know?
Now, can I just point out that LucasArts really is like a history of gaming.
Yes.
So you look at the very first Star Wars game to come out, it was wireframe and it was...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was great, and I remember playing it and thinking, oh, this is so awesome, I cannot believe I'm playing this game. But now, look at where they've come with X-Wing and TIE Fighter. It just that whole transition through the different types of graphics engines, the different types of gameplay. And it's a shame that they've gone because, you know, you've got games like Star Wars 1313 that's now been shut down.
That was meant to be the next big release, and they've shut it down.
And they were 80% through from all the reports that we're hearing. They were really far along. This thing was about to sort of go out to beta testers, and they've actually pulled the plug, and all of that content is gone now.
So it makes me wonder, so the LucasArts made Star Wars Online MMO, which is still going, but it makes me wonder what the future of that will be.
I reckon it's sayonara.
Maybe, because it doesn't look like it's been that popular nowadays, because there's been better things come out like Google's too and what have you.
Exactly.
So yeah, look, I look forward to see what Disney are going to do with that franchise. I mean, there's a gold mine of franchise Star Wars, but let's see what they do with it.
Don't ruin it, Mickey. Coming for you. If you ruin Star Wars, we're coming for you.
Evil rat.
Evil rat.
Cool, so in other news, Telecom have announced their 4G network. They're looking to get this up and running across sort of a large part of their mobile network. This is in response, of course, to Vodafone's 4G announcement a few weeks ago. Telecom will set a service up and it will be up and running in Auckland by October, so very similar to what Vodafone's doing. Okay. And again, Christchurch and Wellington, around Christmas time, they're hoping to have something. Guys, what are your thoughts about this? Obviously, it is, to me, a reactive response to Vodafone's 4G announcement. They've partnered with Huawei to build the infrastructure. So they're looking to get up and going. Craig, what are your thoughts about a 4G network from Telecom?
Look, and I don't know a lot about this, but my immediate thoughts are, I wonder if we have to pay for it like we do at Vodafone. That was my first thoughts. Yeah. And look, I'm all for it. I mean, anytime we get better networks, better speed, it's great.
Yeah, I think for me the big thing will be how Telecom came out and priced this. They've got a chance to really, I think, gazump Vodafone, and if they can throw it into the existing plans out there and do what you said around the not having to pay the extra $10, I think, to get a 4G network, I think for them that would be their competitive things. But for Skip, for you, what about you? You need that fast mobile network for the industry you're in.
Right, yeah. Now, that's the fact, is that one of the reasons why it's taken so long is that it's waited for our industry, which is specifically broadcasting, to get off the analogue platform. So Vodafone had a reasonably clear signal path for the frequency they're doing 4G on. The Telecom and other marketplaces have had to wait for a couple of other items to free up, basically. So we're looking at rolling this out closer towards more of the digital network switchover for television, freeing up those frequencies for 4G. So that's kind of been the big halting point here. I think both Vodafone, Telecom and even 2 Degrees have really been looking at doing this a lot quicker. There's just not been any frequency space.
Yeah, and I think wrapping this up, I think it's good for our industry. I think having 4G will be great. Devices are going to be critical, though, obviously, to get this moving forward. At the moment, in the New Zealand market, we have very limited 4G devices that we can use.
Very good. Now, cyberbullying. It's the topic that we didn't cover in tonight's audio podcast, but we thought it's actually quite good for us to actually just have a bit of a round discussion about what's happening with cyberbullying. So the government is proposing a new cyberbullying law. It's aimed at protecting people from being bullied online or via text. So the new laws would include up to 3 years in prison should harm come to anyone as a result of cyberbullying. There's also a $2,000 fine and up to 3 months imprisonment for cyberbullying in general as a catch-all. So, Craig, tell us, what do you use for your family to sort of protect it from the cyberbullying side of things?
Actually, I don't use anything. I use common sense. So I guess we teach the kids that if someone's annoying you or whatever, then you just walk away or what have you. But it could quite easily happen to any of them or anyone's kids. So I think having a plan and perhaps some technology in place. So I haven't gone that far yet, but I know there's some great products out there, which I'm sure Brad will talk about the Microsoft stuff in a minute. But yeah, from my point of view. This is definitely the government playing catch up. We've had Facebook, we've had MSN, we've had something for 20 years, I guess, and I guess it's just moved from calling each other names in the schoolyard to texting to Facebook. And I guess the worst part is that you're always out in the open for everyone to see you. So yeah, look, it's absolutely quite serious, and I'm glad the government's doing something about it.
I think for me, what's really brought this to the forefront is that recently there have been children that have committed suicide. And this is really where a lot of parents have been campaigning around getting these laws in place, because you're right, the days when we're at school, I think at some point every child's been bullied at school. But with this ability now for people to get bullied in their bedrooms, in places where it's not as visible and it can't be heard by people, to get caught and get rectified. And we have had some poor children commit suicide out there. So, yeah, I think this has raised it now, this digital age we've got. A lot of people now, a lot of kids have mobile devices. And I think it can get taken too far. I mean, there was recently that gentleman in Rotorua that got taken to court. I mean, he physically assaulted a reporter, but he was trolling people on Facebook and actually abusing them. And I think there was a lady, a celebrity in Australia that was basically one of the victims of his attack. So, yeah, from my side, I'm pleased it's in, as a father of 2 boys and a little girl, and as they're growing up in this digital age, I want them to be protected from that side of things.
Yeah, and I think that's a very important thing, is that regardless of what age we're in, and let's face it, the digital age is changing quite rapidly. It's different from what it was 10 years ago. Technology has changed. The spaces have changed in which we converse with each other in. I think the most important thing, and we're all dads, is that we just be aware of what our kids are doing and aware of how our kids are acting around us. The mood changes, the behavioural changes that occur. And a lot of that can be sort of tied into things happening to them at school. They're a bright, happy kid one day and then the next day they're not. These are things you've got to be aware of. And spend time with your kids, man. Just go and hang out with them, paint a fence, build something, do something geeky, techie with them. Because often in those moments you get the conversation that comes across, right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's great. I mean, we can put all the technology we like into this thing, but actual hands-on parenting is going to be a real key to defeat some of this stuff. So.
Yeah, and you talk about the technology. I know some fathers that have actually put firewalls in at home to try and block the sites that they're going to. I'm trialling some new stuff because my boy's at the point where he's just starting to explore YouTube, for instance. And whilst YouTube has some restrictions around what the content you can get, I'm still not comfortable with what he's getting.
Right.
So for me, obviously, from the Microsoft world, I've put in Windows 8 and I've put in the parental controls, and I can lock him out. So I can literally schedule the times that he can and can't use the computer at this point in time.
You get reports too?
Yeah, you get reports, you get everything about what they're doing. It's not to the point, I think one of the best things I've ever heard is around where parents actually sit down and saying, if you want to use the internet in my household, let's have an open policy. Share me your password, so if I ever need to know what's going on, but I'll respect your privacy. It's there for your safety at that point in time. And I think it comes down to that parenting and having that dialogue like you talked about.
The dog's important.
I think they should feel comfortable to come and talk to you as well.
Yeah.
I think you should be a comfortable, open relationship. Yeah.
And I think one of the key things is cyberbullying.org.nz or netsafe.co.nz are 2 really critical websites for people that are watching that have children, or if you are in that age group and you are in trouble, they've got some resources on there that can come and help you out.
Yeah, and if you're a parent and you're freaking out because the internet's taken over your house and you don't quite know what you're going to do about it, don't freak out. Reach out to these organisations. They'll be more than happy to help you out with that. So NetSafe or Cyberbullying, definitely check it out. We'll put their links up on our website as well at geeksphere.tv. Right, I guess that's it for us. Now, we have a couple of sister sites, shall we say.
Yes.
We've got gameguide.co.nz to look after games, and we've got another one called filmguide.co.nz. Now, Film Guide have a great giveaway. So if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, the Breaking Bad series,
Love it.
Season 4, we've got a copy of it to give away. Now, if you go along to the filmguide.co.nz website and have a look at their competitions page, you will see the competition for Breaking Bad, and you have to enter in a secret phrase. Now, Brad has abused the IT community tonight by putting out his t-shirt, Bring Back Clippy. And that's going to be our secret phrase, secret code phrase, Bring Back Clippy.
And then we're going to beat Brad after this.
We are going to beat Brad after this really badly.
If we could ask our nice cameraman just to zoom in on the Bring Back Clippy April Fool's joke that came out from a few years ago.
Don't look, people.
There we go.
Don't look.
So there is Clippy back in all his glory. Start the campaign.
Are you doing it all one word?
No, don't do it all as one word. It doesn't really matter. One word or as a sentence, but the phrase is Bring Back Clippy.
Yep.
Enter it onto the website and you're in the draw.
And what's our second competition we've got running?
So the other competition we have running, good call, Brett,
Thank you.
is our Xbox 360 competition, which we're giving away. Now, the deal is you had to find clues in episodes 10 and 11 and fill it out on the competition page on our website. Now, we've got a week to go. We're going to call this thing on Tuesday next week, so we really want you to enter in that competition. You've only got a week. It's plenty of time to be able to catch up on that couple of small podcasts. So enter into that, and you're in with a pretty good chance to get an Xbox 360, I tell you.
Yeah, and we'll ship it anywhere in New Zealand or around the world where we can, but we've pretty much committed that we're going to get it out to you. So Xbox 360 up for grabs if you listen to episodes 10 and 11 of the audio show of Geeksphere.tv.
Excellent. Well, it's been a blast, and Craig, thank you for coming along.
Thank you again.
And Brad, don't bring back that T-shirt.
Yeah. Love the T-shirt, go live it.
That is us. You can join us on Twitter at Geeksphere TV. You can follow us on Facebook at, look for Geeksphere TV, basically. We're on there. And we're on Google+, surprisingly, Geeksphere TV. There's a bit of a theme rolling through here. But our website is updated during the week, www.geeksphere.tv. It's been a blast, guys. See you later.
Take care. See ya.